Hi, thanks for joining me today. It's Geraldine from the Paper Puffin Studio, and today I'm going to show you how to make this angled trifold Valentine card. This card comes with a belly band, which you slide off and then open like this. And it will stand for display like this. Here's one version that I've made, and it's the version I'm going to show you how to make today. And I've made another one just slightly different with some different designer series paper. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started. Let's begin by reviewing all of the pieces that you're going to need to build this card. For the base of your card, you're going to need a piece of cardstock measuring 5.5 inches by 11 inches. You'll need a piece of the same color of cardstock, and this piece will be 3/4 of an inch by 9.5 inches. You'll need a piece of cardstock for the inside of your card, and this piece measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. You'll need 2 pieces of designer series paper, each measuring 3 1/8 by 5 1/4. And you'll need another piece of a coordinating designer series paper, and this piece measures 1/2 inch by 4 1/8 of an inch. To decorate the front of the card, you're going to need to cut out these hearts, and these are being cut from the Stampin' Up! Be Mine stitched framelit dies, and these are the ones that I've chosen. A stitched one for the red heart, the insert is cut out of white, and then another stitched heart out of red. Now we're ready to score our largest piece of cardstock. We're going to take the longest edge, which was 11 inches, and we're going to place that at the top of the trimmer. We're going to line up the edge with 3 3/8 of an inch, and we're going to score. Now I'm going to take the paper out, turn it around, and repeat that. So lining up the edge at 3 3/8 of an inch, I'll go ahead and score. And that's the scoring all done for this card. Now to make those angled cuts that are on the front of the card, I find it easiest to use a ruler. So I'm using a ruler and a pencil. I'm going to go on one side of the card, and from the top I'm going to measure down 1 inch and make a little mark. I'll do the exact same thing on the other side from the top, making a little mark at the 1 inch. So if this is the top of my card, then this is the bottom. For the bottom, I'm going to line up my ruler, and I'm going to mark in from this bottom edge 1 inch and make a little mark. And then over here I will repeat that, making a mark at the 1 inch position. So to review that, I've got a 1 inch and a 1 inch mark at the top. Then I moved in from the bottom 1 inch on both sides. Now these marks are going to help me do the cuts. For the cutting, I'm going to be bringing back in my trimmer, and I'm going to use the groove in my trimmer to line up where this score line starts and where I made the 1 inch tick mark from the top. So lining up my paper so the score line is here and the little 1 inch mark is here, I'm going to be cutting from the score line to the 1 inch mark. I'm going to place my blade somewhere in the middle of the paper, because I find if I start from the edge on either side, I kind of bend the paper, and I don't want to do that. So I'll bring down my blade and cut. So my paper looks like this right now. Now I'm going to be repeating that on the other side. So I'm going to line up the pencil mark in the groove and then this score line so that I can cut at an angle again. So with the score line lined up in the track and the pencil tick mark lined up in the track. Pencil marks here and the score lines here. I'm going to go ahead and cut. So that's for the top part of the card. Now for these cuts, I'm cutting from this corner here to the pencil mark. So placing the corner in the track and then the pencil mark in the track down at the bottom. I'll cut from edge to edge. Now I'll do that again. So lining up this corner and this pencil mark here in the track and cutting. Now the base of my card is ready. I've made all the cuts I need. Now we're ready to cut these two pieces of designer series paper to go on the front. So I'm going to just take one of them for now. I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to repeat exactly what I'd done with the larger piece of the base color. I'm going to be coming down from the top 1 inch and making a pencil line or pencil tick. I then will go 1 inch in from the bottom and make a pencil line again. So remember that's 1 inch down and 1 inch over. These will be the guides for cutting. Now this was the other piece of designer series paper, and I find the easiest thing to do, rather than make those pencil marks, I'm going to take this piece and flip it over on the wrong side, and I'll then put these two pieces together. When they go together, I'm then going to cut both at the same time. Now I've got the two pieces put together so that the right side is out on the top, and when I flip it over, the right side is out as well. With the two pieces of paper lined up together, and I'm going to cut both at the same time. Remember, I have a pencil mark here and a pencil mark here. I'm going to line those two pencil marks up just like I did before, cutting from the top corner to the pencil for my first cut, and then this pencil to here for my next cut. So lining up my paper with the point and then the pencil mark sitting in the groove of my trimmer. I'm going to place my blade somewhere in the middle, not on the edges, hold my paper in place, and cut from the corner to the pencil line. So now I have this shape. Now keeping the two pieces of paper together, I'm going to be cutting from this edge to this 1 inch mark down at the bottom. Place this back in your trimmer, lining up the point with this groove and the pencil line with the groove. Place your cutting blade somewhere in the middle, hold your paper in place, and cut. Now what you get is this piece, which will go on one side, and when you flip this one over, you'll have the coordinating piece for the other side. Now I'm ready to fold and burnish along the score lines on the base of the card. So I'll go ahead and do that, just using my bone folder to help me to burnish along the edges. Now I'm ready to attach the designer series paper that we cut. So I'm going to be placing my designer series paper on the front, one here, and then one here. I'm going to go ahead and glue those in place, and we'll pick up there. With the designer series paper now glued in place, I'm going to prepare the insert that will go on the inside of the card right here. I'm going to go ahead and stamp a sentiment and some hearts on here, and I'll also be stamping a sentiment on this heart, which will go on the front. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll pick up there. For the stamping, I've used the Memento Tuxedo Black for the sentiments, and for these little hearts, I used the Crumb Cake. The sentiment "I'm so glad you're in my life" came from the Love of Leaves stamp set. And the Happy Valentine's Day, along with these little hearts, came from the Meant to Be stamp set. I'm going to go ahead and attach this insert now to the inside of the card. With the insert in place, I'm now going to assemble the belly band. So closing up the card, I'm going to take the strip that we cut that was 9.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to place it around the card. I don't usually score these belly bands. I just find it easier if I just fold the belly band in place. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to place some glue here on this overlap so that the belly band will close. I'll then attach this white heart to the background red one, and then these hearts will get placed on the front. But before I do that, I'm going to be placing this little decorative strip on. So I'll glue all these things together and I'll pick up there. With the belly band now all glued together and the decorative strip on the front, I attached the hearts to each other. I used a glue dot to get this little red heart to attach here. And I decided it needed something else, so I put a little stamp in crumb cake of a heart up there. Now I'm going to attach this to the front, and I'm going to use a resin heart in place of the apostrophe to embellish it a little. I'll go ahead and finish up the card and show you the finished product. Hi, thanks for joining me today. It's Geraldine from the Paper Puffin Studio, and today I'm going to show you how to make this angled trifold Valentine card. This card comes with a belly band, which you slide off and then open like this. And it will stand for display like this. Here's one version that I've made, and it's the version I'm going to show you how to make today. And I've made another one just slightly different with some different designer series paper. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started.